When applying to jobs, attaching, uploading, or submitting your resume for official consideration is typically one of the first steps. Without your resume, you will be forced to enter in all of your information into the system manually, which can cause you to waste precious time in your job search. And seriously, who has time for that? That takes so much time. Welcome back to the official Thompson Resume Writing Company YouTube channel, where I share weekly tips and hints on how to update, refresh, or prepare your resume and or LinkedIn profile for your job search. I'm Tamika Thompson. I am the lead resume writer and owner at Thompson Resume Writing Company. I specialize in transforming bland, lackluster resumes and LinkedIn profiles into powerful selling tools that help corporate mid-level, management, and executive professionals land interviews 2 times faster. For this video, I'm going to be giving you several reasons why you are always going to need a resume no matter what. Let's get right into it. When applying to jobs, attaching, uploading, or submitting your resume for official consideration is typically one of the first steps. Without your resume, you will be forced to enter in all of your information into the system manually, which can cause you to waste precious time in your job search. And seriously, who has time for that? That takes so much time. But with the rise of social media, LinkedIn, people building personal brands, side hustles, entrepreneurships, and everything else, there's some rumors going around out there that you don't need a resume anymore. Now, it's not uncommon to exchange IG handle information, Twitter handle information, LinkedIn profile URLs, YouTube channel links, and online websites when you meet someone or when submitting your name for an opportunity. And while all of those channels are great to have, they shouldn't take the place of an actual resume. So without further ado, here are 7 reasons why a resume is not going anywhere anytime soon. Number 1 is that you are always going to need a concrete document that lists your experiences and your skills. Social media is great for sharing stories and sharing pictures. LinkedIn is great for sharing content and gaining interest from recruiters. And personal branded websites are great for branding yourself as an expert. Now, all of those things are nice and all, but here's the thing. They can be fake, fraudulent, fluffed, and produced. Those are great resources to get your name out there, have people express interest in you, and to draw people to you, but there is nothing like having a solid Word or PDF document that goes into detail about your experiences, your skills, your value, and the things that you've done. You can link to those items via a URL that you include on your website to those things on your resume, but it's important to note that those things should not take the place of your resume or serve as your resume. Furthermore, once you submit that information, guess what they're going to ask for next? Your resume. Why? Because it's typically the first step in the hiring process at all. They may be intrigued by your Instagram or your LinkedIn profile and they're going to want to learn more, and so naturally they're going to ask for your resume next. Make sure that you have one to send to them as soon as they ask you for it. And don't get it twisted. If you are an entrepreneur, you are also still going to need a hard copy or a hard document that talks about what you do in your business wins and successes, and information about your business overall. Just because you run your own company doesn't mean that you don't need a resume. It may be structured a little bit differently. The information that's included may be different from a corporate resume or a regular resume, but you're still going to need a document that talks about what you do in your business, how you're running your company, and what your wins and your successes have been as a CEO, as a president, as a manager, as an operations manager, whatever you're doing. Number 2 is that resumes will always be needed to officially start the application process. If you've ever searched for or applied to a job online, then you know that one of the first things that they have you do when you start the application process is to upload or attach your resume. If you don't have it, then you have to type everything in line by line, page by page, and ew, who has the time to do that? If you do attach it and you go ahead and upload it, then it autofills everything in there for you. In order to start any type of interview process or hiring process, a recruiter or hiring manager or the person in charge is always going to request a copy of your resume first and foremost to see if your background and your experiences match what they're looking for. You can't get a job offer without an interview, you can't get an interview without submitting an application, and you can't submit an application without uploading or sending your resume first. Number 1. Even when applying to jobs on LinkedIn and social media, they're still going to have you follow up by sending a copy of your official resume after that. Your online presence may be starting the conversation and generating that interest, but your resume should seal the deal. Number 3 is that resumes will always be used in conjunction with or take precedence over media. Now, don't get me wrong, videos, pictures, websites, and audio files are great, and recruiters and hiring managers do enjoy listening to them, watching them, reading them, whatever. However, your resume is always going to be a first priority. So if you submit those files first, they're either going to follow up asking you for your resume, or if you submit your resume and then you attach those files later, it can confirm or actually pique their interest in you. You can have all the right angles, an engaging, amazing personality, and the best captions, but if you send your resume after all of that and it misses the mark, you could blow your chances. Your media information should be an added bonus and provide samples or examples of what you do, but your resume should be filled with value, facts, and prove that you are good for business. Followers are great, subscribers are great, and viral posts are great, but sometimes that's not always enough, and those things should not overshadow or take the place of your actual career experience. Number 4 is that they are a staple in the professional world. If you are in corporate or if you have worked in corporate, then you know that a resume is a number 1 document that you must have in order to advance within the company or apply or seek a new position in a company at all. The resume has been around since 1960. That is a long time, you guys, and it doesn't show any sign of being phased out anytime soon, but rather it has been evolving and adapting to current times and shifts when it comes to hiring trends and job seeker needs. Regardless of whether you are an entry-level professional, a mid-level professional, or an executive badass, you are going to need a professional resume that brags on yourself, what you've done, what you've brought to the table, what you've accomplished, what you've succeeded, all of the things. Now, for creative fields, there are other assets that are considered more important than a resume, such as a demo reel, a website, or a portfolio. But if you are not a creative and you're not going into any creative spaces, you are going to need a resume. I guarantee it. And quiet as it's kept, not having a professional resume is unprofessional AF. Get one. Number 5 is that it's the number 1 thing that recruiters and HR managers are going to always ask for. Now, this one is piggybacking off of number 3 just a bit, but a resume is always going to be requested by a recruiter, an HR manager, or a headhunter to either consider you for the job, officially get started, or present you as a candidate. Recruiters are going to read your resume before they interview you, and HR managers are going to review your resume before they decide that they want to meet with you. They may ask to see your social media channels, but without a doubt, they are going to be asking for your resume. And they want to see the following: what you've done, what your impact has been, why should they hire you or why should they consider you, and what's your track record been of doing what they need you to do, in addition to your career history, your journey, and your career growth overall. Do not disappoint them by not having a resume or by making them wait a few days to read your resume because you need some time to now whip it up or reach out to a resume writer real quick to get it done. Number 6 is that you will always need to have a record of your career history on file. Whether it's for legal reasons or if it's just to keep track of all of the jobs you've had, you are going to need a document that is going to list all of your jobs on it just in case. This needs to be an all-inclusive document that includes every single job you've ever held, even from your very first job that you may have had when you were 15. Now, this should not be confused with a targeted resume because that's different. A targeted resume is only going to include select jobs and select roles that you've had that's related to what you are applying to now. When you don't keep track or you don't keep record of the jobs that you've held, it's very easy to forget. And then all of a sudden, when you're trying to remember where you worked and when and what was the name of the company, you can't. So it's always good to have a running document that just contains a list of where you worked, when, and the name of the companies, just in case you need to refer back to it for any reason. Having a master copy of your job history can come in handy, such as when you are applying to a home or you're applying for something else that may require you to provide some information about your employment background. Number 7 is that you are always going to need a list of your wins, successes, and accomplishments to either reference or to present to someone else. It seriously shocks me and blows my mind how many professionals do not keep track of the wins and the successes that they've had throughout their career or in their current or past positions. By the time they come to me for help, they have trouble remembering and can't recall critical information that can really set them apart from competing applicants. If you've helped your company achieve over $1 million in sales this fiscal quarter, I need you to write that down so that you do not forget that. If you help the company save 20% in spending this year alone, I need you to put that somewhere. Consistently jotting down your wins and your successes as they occur throughout your career allows you to always reference back to them when needed, and it makes it so much easier for you to update your resume when the time comes. And it also helps for those tough days where you question yourself or you doubt yourself. You can take a look at that list and be reminded of how much of a badass you really are. And lastly, when someone asks you what you've done or what value you have or what impact you've had, you can easily ramble it off with no problem. So those are several reasons why a resume is not going anywhere anytime soon. If you were one of those people who thought that LinkedIn, social media, YouTube, and a website was going to replace a resume, I'm sorry, but not sorry to have had to burst your bubble. If you need resume assistance, I'll be more than happy to help you. Feel free to visit my website at www.thompsonresumes.com. You can also email me directly at hello@thompsonresumes.com. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next week on the Thompson Resume Writing YouTube channel with another helpful video. Bye!